event, I think. The university is opening a writers' service, and we're very lucky to be working in conjunction with the Fountain Partnership, which to begin with is our external partner who'll be providing us with the work, which we hope we're going to get you to do. The Fountain Partnership was the brainchild of Fountain's CEO and founder, Rebecca Lewis-Smith, who contacted Justine Mann, who works in our careers department. And in a network of talking to various people, we come here today to hopefully start a really productive writer's service. Rebecca will talk to you in a bit about Fountain and what type of work they do. There are several other people working on the project that I would like to mention. There's an intern that has helped put the packs together today for you, and that's Lucy Jobber, who's at the front. We have a consultant who is going to be working on the prolongation of this project and how we're going to be funded after Christmas, and that's Emily Buchanan. And with Rebecca today is her partner in life and crime, Marcus Hemsley. So he will be talking to you about the actual work today and giving you the training. Submission of your work in order to take part will be via email, and you must send your article to the address writers.service@uea.ac.uk. Now that will be in your training pack. Caveat: any articles found with grammatical or spelling errors will be dismissed. So make sure your work is proofread to an inch of its life. For the success of the project, for the ongoing funding applications that we're going to make to keep this service going and to expand the number of external partners that we work with and hence get you more work, we ask that you would fill out today your feedback form and just pass it to Lucy or myself or some people who will be strategically placed at the back of the hall at the end. Final bits of administration. If you could just sign, just put your initials next to your name to show that you've been here today, so that we can contact those that didn't manage to make it, that would be great. So that will be coming around if you can sign. And finally, one last thing to promote another event that's coming up, the UEA London networking event. 3 coaches will be leaving UEA to take you down to UEA's London site, where you will have the opportunity to listen to speakers who are ex-UEA students about their job and their work, and you'll get to network with them directly. So there'll be like a speed networking section. Don't be afraid of the networking, it's all made very easy for you. Okay, so and that's on the 19th of October. So if you go to the UEA Careers website, you can find out more about that. Okay, without further ado then, I'm going to introduce Rebecca Lewis-Smith, and let's give her a round of applause because she's the one that's given us the opportunity to do this.
Thanks, Sarah. So, my name's Rebecca, I'm the Managing Director of Fountain. We're an internet marketing company. We're based here in Norwich. The company was founded in 2009, early 2009, by Marcus and myself. We're both UEA graduates, which is kind of why we're here today, is that we see the opportunity to create opportunities for UEA students to get experience while they're studying. We now have a team of 13 in our offices based down the road, and the work that we do is about delivering search engine optimization services and other internet marketing services for a broad range of clients across the UK and internationally as well. And in a lot of the work that we do, all of the work that's around SEO, which is search engine optimization, the very core of this work is high quality content, and that's where you come in. That's why we've set up this programme today. Over the past 4 years, we've had a number of students intern with us. I think one of them is here today, by the way. Hi, Holly. And they've gone on to do paid work experience, or they've done paid work experience, and then gone on to be freelancers and deliver some articles for us on a sort of ongoing basis, which they get paid to do. Some other interns as well have gone on to be employed with us afterwards as well. Several of our team members started that journey through freelancing with us. So we our experience of working with students is that you bring a fresh approach to the work that we're doing every day. We have a team of people who are sitting and writing in our offices every single day, but students are much more likely to take a new approach, to look at something from a different angle, and we benefit a lot from that, so that's another reason that I'm here. We have a network of freelancers that we work with, and we call on them to write high quality content for our clients, and we pay them £10 per article. The articles are about 400 words, so they're not really that long at all, and they'll often be one client needing several articles, so it might be 4 different articles on similar types of topics. So the research time is kept to a minimum once you get beyond the first article. So, as I said, we've started working with the University Writer Corps, we've started the University Writer Service alongside the UEA to try to help a larger number of students to gain experience working as commercial freelance writers. So starting today, we're running a competition to find a group of students, there'll be 7 students that will be part of the University Writer Service this term. And that competition, as Sarah was saying, is about submitting a short article, which will give you, the topic is in your packs, it's a housing market. We'll chat a little bit more about the competition and what we're looking for at the end of this presentation. The deadline for submitting that is Tuesday, and I know that's a really short deadline. I know that you've got a lot going on in life, but that's kind of the nature of freelancing, is that you get you're commissioned to do a piece of work and you need to turn it around quickly. So that's why we've done that, also so that we can get going and get started with the work this time. One of the things that I really want to mention is important is that the aim of the University Writer Service is primarily to give you skills and experience. So today you'll be getting a bit of training in SEO, the background of what SEO is and how internet marketing works. We also want to give you the experience of working as a commercial writer, so as a commercial freelancer. And then of course we'll also pay you for the work that you do. But I just wanted to make it clear that that's the focus of this, is to get experience that you can put on your CVs. All of the clients that we'll be outsourcing work for, they've agreed to this programme, they're quite excited about it, and they're also going to be giving feedback. So I'm hoping to get as many references from us and for the clients, for everyone who's involved along the way, which hopefully will really benefit people once you put it on your CV. So each of the students that will be working with us during the course of this project will be given 4 articles to write before December, and there'll be deadlines for those, and you'll need to deliver on those deadlines. We're asking you to treat Fountain as a client as you get involved in this, and we work really, really hard to deliver high quality services to our clients and to keep them happy on a regular basis, and we're asking you to do the same for us so that we can sort of deliver those services to our clients. So as I said, we'll go into more detail about the competition at the end of the workshop today. The aim of today is in order to make sure that as many people as possible and anyone who was interested in the programme could benefit from some of the training that we were planning to offer. As we were putting together the plan for this training, we thought, we'll do this with the group of students that we take further into it. And then we realised that actually we could do this for a larger group of people. So our aim is that even if you're not someone who has chosen to be one of the 7 who's taken on board today, that you'll come away with some really interesting information that could really benefit you in your future working life. So I'm going to hand you over to my co-director Marcus. He's the Director of SEO Strategy at Fountain and is also an experienced trainer. He's more used to working or to training with groups of CEOs and MDs and in much smaller groups and for much longer. So today he's put together a training session that aims to get through as much as possible the basics of SEO and internet marketing. So here's Marcus.
I'd like to make an assumption about each of you here in the audience today. And that assumption is that each of you are excellent writers. And I want to talk to you about how the skill of writing is so valuable in the 21st century information age. You see, when I graduated from UEA 5 years ago, I only really had one thing going for me. And that was, I was good at writing. As a philosophy student, over 3 years I've honed the craft of writing well and persuasively. Just out of interest, are there any philosophy students here today? Hey, that's very good. I was expecting 0, but that's wonderful. I didn't think that writing was that useful, but actually I was wrong. A few months after graduating, I went to a seminar that changed my life. It was a seminar about internet marketing, where I met people who were getting paid incredibly well as copywriters, as SEO consultants, and affiliate marketeers. And they had two things going for them. One, they could write well, and the other, they weren't afraid to embrace new technology, social media, learning how to write a blog. Now, I'm not actually a techie, but I realise if I invest my time, I mean, I had just done a philosophy degree and I thought that was quite complex, that I could figure most things out online. Now, as Rebecca said, only 7 of you will be chosen for the pilot scheme. So I want to make the next half an hour or so really valuable for everyone here. I want you each to leave today feeling you've got a better understanding of what you can do with your writing skills and the possibilities that are out there. So my commitment to you is to share with you my experience and knowledge over the last 5 years. I'm going to give you the basics of search engine optimization. I'm going to show you some really cool online tools, one of which actually landed me my first job in marketing. I'm going to give you an insight into the world of internet marketing, and then we'll wrap up with a Q&A session and you can ask me anything. In addition to learning these skills, I've also set up and grown a business with Rebecca of 13 people, and I left UEA in 2008 with just my philosophy degree. So I want to start by telling you guys a story. And this is a story about a company that most of you will be very familiar with. HMV have had a pretty bad time, as I'm sure you're well aware. 11 years ago, though, HMV was at its peak. In 2002, it had a company value on the stock market of £1 billion, a share value of £1.92, and exactly 10 years later to the day, HMV plummeted. It was worth just £15 million and had a share value of 3 pence. So what happened? Well, a really good person to ask and interrogate about this is a guy called Philip Beeching. He owned Beeching Marketing Company and they had the marketing contract. And he's written a really interesting article called Why Companies Fail, The Rise and Fall of HMV. You see, in 2002, HMV hired a new managing director, and he decided to ask the marketing company, Beeching's, to re-pitch for the work. So they worked incredibly hard to forecast the threats to HMV. Now I'm going to ask for some audience participation here. Can anyone think, imagine it's 2002, what the threats might have been for HMV then? Any suggestions? Yes, you sir. Downloading music, yeah. Anyone else? Amazon, yeah. iTunes, yeah. That's pretty much spot on. That's exactly what they came in. They came in, pitched the managing director, and said, look, here are the 3 main threats. Downloadable music, online retailers, and the other one that wasn't mentioned was supermarkets selling at discount. So they delivered this to the managing director, and halfway through the pitch, he banged his fist on the desk and was very visibly angry, and he said he'd never heard such rubbish, that downloadable music was just a fad, and people would always want the atmosphere of buying in a real record shop. So Philip Beeching and his company were fired. And we know what happened to HMV. Over the last 10 years, it's been fascinating to watch these new people come along. They're household names now, Amazon, iTunes. We just assume they've always been around, but actually they started making their name about 10 years ago. Google last week celebrated its 15th birthday. That's how new they are. So here's the thing. If we embrace change and seek opportunities in the information age, we can keep ahead. And that's actually something that our generation has going for us, believe it or not. Because I meet lots of people, and some of them of an older generation are switched on to online, but most of them aren't. Yet our generation finds it incredibly easy. And when you combine that belief that we can embrace Web 2.0, with the fact that we can write good content, actually we've got a lot to offer the marketplace. We don't have to leave university and try and fit into someone else's box as such, because I meet a lot of senior CEOs saying, I don't get Twitter, I don't know that Facebook thing, I don't really understand why you'd use search engines, I use the yellow pages. but they're missing a trick. And in the next 10 years, if they continue on that trajectory, they'll end up like HMV. So I believe that the new currency for this information age is content, and that's where you come in. If you can create content, that's the only thing that's going to be consistent. Technology will change, but we're still communicating with humans. And if you can write compelling copy, if you can persuade people, if you can influence them, then actually what you offer is very powerful. So I'm going to start talking about search engine optimization. And people might think it might be an incredibly dry subject, but actually you'll realise how important that creating content is to SEO. I made assumptions when I was at university that you have to be able to build websites to do SEO, that you have to be a techie, and that is a part of that. But a large part of SEO is building really good links and writing compelling content. So I'm going to start by talking about keywords. Show of hands, who knows what I mean when I say keyword? Okay, that's about 40% of the audience, fair enough. For the other 60%, a keyword is a search term. It's something that you put into Google. And what would be really interesting, don't you think, if we could find out how many people are searching for each keyword, for each search term? Well, Google gives us that information. Google has what it calls its keyword planner. You can put in any word or any combination of words under the sun to tell you how many people search for them each month. Google doesn't do this because it wants to help us in our SEO endeavours. It wants us to pay for advertising. It wants to lure us in to using Google Ads, which actually is quite a good way of driving traffic to your website. So if you see on the screen up here, I've assumed that we've got a client who's a solicitor in Norwich, and he's a no-win, no-fee solicitor. And what this tells us is that if you look up here at the very top, you can see solicitors. Average monthly searches, 22,200. So every month, 22,200 people a month search for solicitors. But he's Norwich-based. So how many people in Norwich are looking for solicitors on average? 480. People looking for a particular no-win, no-fee? 8,100. Now, I'm not particularly interested in solicitors, but I use these keywords to show about the other thing that it offers, is it tells you about cost per click. It tells you how much it costs to advertise. So just have a show of hands of intrigue. Who actually likes solicitors or law students or... There's two of you, brilliant. I did this on my course. What's really interesting, if you were to go onto Google now, and if you've got Wi-Fi, give it a go, and you type in no win, no fee. If you see where it says no win, no fee, to the right of it, you've got 8,100. You've then got the word hi. You've then got the number, £77.19. That means every time you click on a Google ad, under no win, no fee, it costs them £77.19. It's quite an extortionate amount, really. But that also gives you an indication of the market. That if 1 in 10 people buy, so it's costing £770 to get a sale, how profitable is no win, no fee? This data is free for us to get, and it's fascinating. Another tool, actually, hold on. The thing with keyword research is you always need to think from your target audience's point of view. And let me give you an example, a case study, if you like. Who here recognises this gentleman? Philosophy students? Wonderful. We got, right, 3 people recognise him. This is Dr. Rupert Reed. He is a philosophy lecturer here at UEA. In 2009, he was running to be a member of the European Parliament for the Green Party. He's actually running again next year. And I ran his AdWords campaign for him, his Google Ads campaign. And I asked people in the Green Party, well, what keywords should we have ads under? And people said Green Party. Well, surely those people who are typing that in are already going to vote Green Party. Let's think about this. And they said, how about European election? I said, well, yes, maybe, but if people are typing European election, they're probably interested in politics already. They probably already have a party they like. Let's think, who do we want to target? Well, the Green Party's a left-wing party, so we want centre-left voters. We want people who vote Labour and Lib Dem. Well, what do they Google? Has anyone got any ideas? If you wanted to have ads trying to capture left-wing voters, where would you have ads? Any suggestions?
Searches for the Guardian online.
Spot on. And that's exactly what I did in 2009. Because if you look at the keyword tool, every month 2.7 million people search the word Guardian. People are lazy, they don't like typing in www.guardian.co.uk, they haven't even bothered to bookmark it, but they will open a browser, go to Google and type in the word Guardian. So we actually ran an ad at the very top that said, Guardian reader question mark, if you're thinking about voting in the European elections, click here. And that took us to a YouTube video of Rupert Reed and the comedian Mark Thomas, who was writing a lot on the Guardian at that point. And Mark Thomas talked about why you should not vote Labour in the European elections and vote Green. And the nice thing about it is that we could target it so the ads just appeared for people looking for the Guardian in the east of England, because that was where the election was. I have to probably point out that you can't do that anymore. Google's got a bit wiser. You can't steal people's traffic. But the exercise, it helps you realise that actually when you're thinking of keywords, it's about what your target audience is putting into Google. And if you can put ads up there, or if you can get websites to rank naturally up there, which is what you can do with SEO, you can have a lot of influence. The other thing I'm going to tell you about, who here's heard of Google Trends, by the way? Anyone? Brilliant. That's okay. So it's about 6 or 7 of you. In 2009, Google alerted the World Health Organization to the fact that there looked like there was going to be pandemic flu breaking out in Mexico. Now, how the hell did Google know that? Well, the reason was there were lots of people on Mexican Google typing in flu-like symptoms, and they can see that. And what's wonderful about Google Trends is Google's capturing all this data all the time, and it's free for us to use. You can go onto Google Trends. Actually, show of hands, who is travelling abroad in the next 6 months? Cool, well you might find this interesting if you wouldn't like to get the flu. Google Flu Trends. In participating countries only, but if you were to go to the United States and click on it, you can actually look at individual states and it will tell you how many people are searching flu-like symptoms on Google. All the data's here for us, it's free. You just need internet connection, you just need your own creativity. How's this useful though? Well, for us who care about UEA, you can see trends, you can see the trends of people Googling the words UEA over time. At the minute, it's plateaued. If you actually tick, there's a box on the far right called forecast, it will help you forecast. Here's something interesting though. 2009 around December, there was a bit of a spike. Can anyone think why that might have been?
Tuition fees going
I mean, you might all be right, to be honest. I don't know. My guess was it was the climate change scandal in inverted commas, because I don't think it was a scandal, but it was the stolen files, the stolen emails from the UEA. But I think you're right, Doctor Who would see a spike. Well, what's the name of the Doctor Who is from UEA? Matt Smith, sure. So if you were to type in Matt Smith, you could watch that name spike as soon as he was announced as Doctor Who. It's very interesting. So for those of us who care about UEA, you might be a little bit concerned that we've plateaued in the last year, but never fear. When it's Derby Day and you can compare us to Essex, we do much better, as we always do. So, imagine you've chosen your keyword, you know where you want to get on Google, and for you it could be something, it could be a political interest, it could be something to do with your subject. You want to write a blog post, you want it to appear on Google, how do you get there? You've chosen your keyword, you've had a go with these tools, how do you do it? Well, to do that you have to start thinking a bit like Google, not in the voyeur sense, but actually understanding what motivates Google. Google obviously wants to maintain its position as the world's best search engine. And I'm going to share with you 2 principles today that underpin Google, and if you get them you'll understand how Google works and also how the search engines work. The first principle is relevancy. So what do I mean by relevancy? Well, SEO in its most crudest form is word matching. I should mention that I showed this to Rebecca last night and she pointed out that UNO isn't anything to do with matching. I thought it was. But anyway, You get the point. We intuitively know that Google's about word matching because when we use it, we can see that it bolds the words that match. Very lovely company at the top for internet marketing, Norwich there, but as you can see, it bolds it. So there's a golden rule, it's very simple with on-page SEO. If you want to rank for a keyword, it's got to be on your website. Now that might sound a bit, yeah, okay, I get that, that makes sense. Well, a lot of people don't get that. I had a hairdresser in Norwich came up to me and said, we're the best hairdressers in Norwich. Why are we nowhere on Google? We had a look. Well, he's got the word hairdresser all over his website. Hadn't mentioned Norwich once. The website was actually sitting on a server in America. How is Google supposed to know that he's a hairdresser in Norwich unless you tell him that? It's so simple, even a child could do it. So graduates should find it very easy. So you're probably thinking, well, that's great, Marcus, but where does me writing articles come in? Like, why are you telling me all this? Well, the second principle is where you guys come in, and that's authority. To rank well on Google, you need to have authority. But how do you get authority? Well, you get that from other people linking to you, from social signals, from links from other websites. And this is known as link building. If we take two examples, we've got website A that has this number of links to it, and website B that has less, you'd think website A would rank higher than website B. Maybe. It really depends. If website A is a hairdresser in Norwich, and all these links are from his friends, you've got Dave the plumber, the local pet shop, the butcher, the baker, whoever, and they're all his friends, but they've got nothing to do with hairdressing. If, for example, this one has got less links, but if they're links from websites, for example, the Norwich Evening News, Vidalsassoon, GHD, if you've got links from relevant websites that have authority, then you're going to rank higher. If, for example, you just have one link from the BBC, say, on a page that talked about hairdressers in Norwich, that will be better than, say, 100 links from your friends who aren't even in Norwich, who are dotted all around the country, say. So SEO is essentially broken into two halves, and I find the iceberg a good way of demonstrating it. You've got on-page SEO, which is the bit you can see. It's where you put your keywords on the website, and then most of the work that we do at Fountain is off-page SEO, which is building links. You're thinking, well, I'm writing content, how does that build links? If you write good content that's useful for people's websites, they will accept it and then link back to wherever you want to in your content. And that's essentially what we do at Fountain. It's online PR. We find websites that are relevant, that have authority in different industries. We write really good content and say, I think your readers would like this a lot. They accept it, and they include a link back. And you rank higher, and you go higher up the search engines. And the money they make from the sales of being higher on Google covers the cost of our services and more. They get a good return on investment. And that's the business model. But it requires people who get online and are creative and can write superb content. So let me elaborate more on on-page SEO. Let's start there because it's a good place to start, essentially. Sometimes good on-page SEO is all you need. Here's a case study, years ago actually, a client we worked with. Solar panel company in Norwich. We created a page called Solar Panels Norwich, and that appeared at the bottom of page 1. For him to get number 1, we had to get links from relevant websites. So we found, for example, you wouldn't believe it, there is a forum called Solar Panel Chat, where solar panel installers go to rant about their day. It was a good place to put up some good content, some good points, engage with people and get some links from them. We also got a link, I think, from the Norwich Evening News. That's a relevant website for Norwich, a bit of online PR. So the competition's low. On-page SEO is probably all you need. But if you want to rank for good keywords, well, not good keywords, but more popular ones, then you need some off-page SEO. But I'm sure the question you're dying for me to answer is, well, where do I put the keywords? I've got a blog, I've got access to a website, where do I put it? But if I were to choose a different page to optimise, I would have fountainpartnership.co.uk/SEO company, so that are my keyword. So if you've got a pen and paper at the ready, although having said that, it is in your handout, I'm going to run through the on-page SEO checklist, and for those bloggers among you, this will be really useful, because if you're creating content online, if you have a consistency of your keywords in there, you'll be able to appear for them. So, my on-page SEO checklist. Number 1 is the page title. We've been there already. Most important place to put your keywords. Ideally put your keyword first, put your company's name second, or your blog's name second. Keep it within 60 to 80 characters as well. Don't go too long. There's a limit. Meta description. As I explained, it's not visible on websites. Keep it within 150 characters. Those of you who use WordPress or the blogging platform, they normally tell you when you've gone over. Domain and URL. If you create a new page, if you're writing a new blog post, just think about the title of your blog post and think about what people are Googling. Obviously you can't, I don't know if you're writing about, I don't know, Conservative Party Conference, if you put Conservative Party Conference in all the places, you won't appear on page 1. But if you if you had a long tail version of that, so you talked about one of David Cameron's policies at the Conservative Party Conference, a long version of that, if you had that in your title, your page title, your URL, the header, which we're about to get on to now, if you had that consistency, there's a chance you'd appear on page 1 or 2. People will then read your blog, they'll find you. So as I just mentioned, headers. In WordPress or any of the blogging systems, there's a drop-down menu, you can just put heading 1 to 6, and it'll be tied in with the script, so a heading 1 will be very large characters, heading 6 would be smaller. The only thing I would say is try to write for humans over Google. There's nothing worse than reading a header that looks like it's been SEO'd, essentially. Try and get your keywords in there and make it look natural. It's about the user as well. There's no point getting people to your blog or website if it reads horrendously poorly. And that goes to the same with the body text, the 5th most important place. Write for humans, not Google. I've seen people try to write content and it reads like a shopping list, My Norwich-based hairdressers are great hairdressers in Norwich. We love Norwich and Norfolk. Yeah, just stop it. Write something that's natural. Try to use the keywords. You don't want to overstuff it. You really don't. But maybe try to use the keyword once or twice, perhaps in the opening and closing paragraphs. Alt tags. Show of hands, who knows what alt tags are? Anyone? Brilliant, a few of you. Okay. So Google and computers can't see images like we can. There can't be a picture of me and they say, oh, that's Marcus. We need to tell them what it is, which is a wonderful opportunity that if you've got a picture of your hairdressers in Norwich to say, hairdresser in Norwich, rather than image file 689. You see what I mean? But try to incorporate the keyword in an honest way. The most important thing here is consistency. If you go through the checklist on your blog, your website, the article you're writing, if you go through the checklist and tick all 6, you'll rank somewhere for those keywords. It might not be on page 1 if it's a competitive keyword, but it will be somewhere, probably in the top 10 pages. I'd like to talk about 1 keyword per page, because a lot of people assume that it's just the home page of a website that gets ranked by Google, and that's not the case. Every page on a website will appear in Google. And if you choose your pages correctly, and if you have 1 page dedicated to each keyword, which is better anyway, because if someone comes in under a keyword, they want the content to talk about that keyword, So let me explain this a bit further. Quick test. Which website do you think gets the most traffic? We've got website A, which is only a 4-page website. It has a couple of keywords on the home page and a keyword on its product and service page. It's got an About Us page and a contact page. Or there's website B. Looks very similar, but it's got more pages. It's got its product and services pages are divided into 4, and they've got each got different keywords chosen for them. So, show of hands, who thinks website A gets more traffic? Okay. Website B? Everyone else, presumably. Few don't know. All things being equal, it's website B. because each individual web page can rank for a different keyword. So let me give you an actual case study, a story, because it's so hard when I'm talking hypothetically with these weird blue shapes. Let me actually give you something. The thing to realise is Google ranks web pages, not websites. Every page can be ranked. And let me show you this in the story. So, there was an electrician called Ben, and Ben, in 2010, got MSc accredited. Some of you might know what that means. That means he can install solar panels. And he decided to set out by himself. And he invested £2,000 in a website. It looked like this. Not with us, I don't think it's a particularly nice website. And the person who's on the website said, yeah, you have this website and people will come and the phone will start ringing. Show of hands, has anyone seen the film Field of Dreams? Anyone? Okay, there's a few, probably no one then. In there's a catchphrase called build it and they will come. And a lot of web designers tell people that about the internet. You build a website and people will come. So Ben spent £2,000 on the website and he waited. He waited 1 month, no one called for his services. 2 months, no one called. He's getting a bit worried now. So we happened to call him, our salesman did a cold call, and he said, actually I might need to talk to you guys. So if we look at how his website was, it's called Solar East Anglia, and that's the home page, and it was optimised, just ignore part of the page title, but it was optimised for the keyword Solar East Anglia. Well, if no one's heard of him, it doesn't really matter if it's #1 in Google for Solar East Anglia. And it had 9 pages. It had the How It Works page, which was optimised for the keyword How It Works. You had the Price Guide, optimised for the keyword Price Guide. It was no surprise that no one was finding him on Google. So we built some new pages. Put them at the bottom to be a bit subtle. One called Solar Panels Cambridge, Solar Panels Newmarket, Solar Panels Suffolk, Solar Panels Ipswich, Solar Panels Diss. So he represents this area. And they looked a little bit like this. Solar Panels Suffolk. So if you look at the very top, you've got the page title, Solar Panels Suffolk. The URL, / Solar Panels Suffolk. The heading, Solar Panels Suffolk. The first opening sentence, if you like, are you looking to install solar panels on your Suffolk home? And can anyone guess what the name of the image file is? Solar Panels Suffolk. What's interesting is when I bolded the keyword Solar Panels Suffolk, because Google reads the text and if it's bolded it looks slightly more important. But I also bolded some of the benefits, all-inclusive price, real assurance scheme. So to the human eye, you couldn't really tell what I was doing with a cheeky SEO. But let's look at one of the other pages. Oh, Solar Panels Norwich. The copy's different. It needs to be unique copy. But you can see the same formula. And what happened? Well, if you Google Solar Panels Suffolk, #1 you've got Ben, Solar East Anglia / Solar Panels Suffolk. It's Solar Panels Suffolk page, and on his home page, it's Solar Panels Suffolk page. What about Norwich? He's second there. Solar Panels Norwich. The nice thing about this case study is that after a few months, Ben actually rang us up and said, this SEO thing, can you turn it off? Because I'm getting too many inquiries, which was lovely. We said no, he said you've got to sell the leads or inquiries. But hopefully for those of you who thought it was that really explains that each individual page can be optimised for a different keyword. So before I move on to link building, are there any questions? No? Superb, there'll be Q&A at the end as well, but I thought I would just stop at this junction. Okay. Off-page SEO, link building. This is where you guys come in a bit more. Definition of a link, well, it's quite obvious what a link is for most of you. For those of you who aren't sure, a link is a selectable connection from one word, picture, information object to another. This linking to web pages could be internal to the same website, or it could be external. Here's a really important thing about SEO, anchor text. Show of hands who here knows what anchor text is? Anyone? Cool. Show of hands who's heard of a hyperlink? There we go. Okay. Basically, when you're writing content, and we see this all the time, you've got 2 options. So if we're building a link for Ben Boone to get his websites high on Google, and we're writing in Solar Panel Chat or in the Norwich Evening News, learn about solar panels at www. mywebsite.com. That's one way of having a link. Or you can learn about solar panels, the text, the hyperlink. So when Google crawls that, it sees the keyword as synonymous with the URL. Does that make sense? And that makes a big difference. So here's the thing, not all links are equal, and you're probably thinking, well, what link's the right link? So let me give you a couple of tips. You want relevant links. Do you remember our two principles? Relevancy and authority. You want relevant links. You want links from things in your industry that match up the words. Yes, the Norwich Evening News is not about hairdressers in Norwich, but it mentions the word Norwich a lot. It talks about Norwich news. GHD, Vidal Sassoon, they're to do with hairdressing, salons. You want links from there. The other one is from websites of authority. Now it's quite evident to most of us that the BBC or the Guardian are websites of authority, but how do we know the difference between other websites? How do you determine authority? Well, Google gives us an indicator which is known as Google PageRank. Has anyone heard of Google PageRank before? Cool, there's a few of you in the background who've got a bit of an idea about this. You can download the Google toolbar onto your browser and it will tell you the Google PageRank of any page. Now, it's a scale of 1 to 10, but it's not equal. It's not an equal sliding scale. And I think this infographic demonstrates it beautifully. That to get from a PageRank 5 page to a PageRank 6 is more difficult than it took to get from PageRank 0 to a PageRank 5. If you look at the very top, you've got Google as a PageRank 10. Most of the websites or web pages in Google's index, Google's got about 85 billion web pages in its index. Most of them are PageRank 0. And the way you get PageRank is through links. It's called link juice, which is a quite crude term. I don't like it, but that's Google for you. They say absurd things sometimes. So that's an indicator. If you get a link from a blog, for example, Concrete's website, I was looking at the other day, has got a Google PageRank of 4. If there's a link from Concrete to your blog, you would get some of that link juice. You would get some of that authority. So what's the perfect link? The perfect link is a link that has the keyword in its anchor text. And I should note that with changes to Google's algorithm, the keywords need to be varied slightly. So if you have the exact keyword, if you had solar panels Norwich in all of your links, it would look too suspicious. Google's catching on to SEO. So you need to vary. You need to have solar panels in Norwich or Norwich-based solar panel installers. Either way, you have the keyword in the anchor text, you have it on a relevant web page and an authoritative website. So let me actually give you an example rather than just throwing words like relevant and authoritative at you. So one of our clients sells ISO 9001 certifications. They are quality management systems. I'd never heard of them when I was a student, so I expect very few people to know about them, but there they are. So if we're looking for a blog, so I want to create some content, I want to find someone who will link to my client's ISO 9001 page. So I Google ISO 9001 information to look for news sites, something like that. I look down, some of them are competitors, and then I see, a blog, ISO 9001 at WordPress.com. That's someone's blog, ISO 9001 information, someone's talking about it. People are interested in strange things. Think about our solar panel chat forum. I think it's actually called Solar Panel Talk in case any of you are looking up. So, what I'd do is I'd approach these guys and say, look, I've got a client who specialises in ISO 9001, and I've got a really interesting angle about how the certification is changing, how it benefits small businesses, something like that. Would you like to have it on your blog? And they might say, you know what, actually yes, because I've got lots of readers, I need to keep them happy with fresh content, it's useful. So that's where you guys come in, you write content that's useful to readers, that makes a difference to someone who cares about a specialty. And here's the thing, so they said yes, and as you can see, it's on a very relevant website. It's a PageRank 3 website, so it passes some link juice. And as you can see, we've got that link as a hyperlink, it's called anchor text. and it goes straight to my client's ISO 9001 page, which helps push them up the Google rankings for ISO 9001. That's much better than if I just rung up my friend who's the editor of Concrete and said, oh, do you mind putting it on? I'm sure the students of UEA would love it. So how many links do you need? Okay, Marcus, great, we can build links, but how do we know how many links we need? Well, that really depends on the keywords. And what's really nice is there's software out there that will tell you everything about the internet. And you can use this software called Majestic SEO. You can see how many people are linking to your competitors. So if I want to be number one for hairdressers in Norwich, I need to look at my competitor who's ranking number one and see how many people are linking to him. Because if his on-page SEO is 100%, say, and mine's 100%, the difference is the linking. And I want to just see how many links he's got, the quality of them, the quantity of them, so I can use that as a benchmark to work out how many links we need. And Majestic SEO, you can get some data on it for free, you have to pay a subscription, but it's interesting to see who's linking to who. So let me tell you a few home truths about link building. It's hard work. Essentially, I'm telling my team, if you worked for me, I'd say, right, okay, here are our clients, here are the keywords we're going for, here you've got your laptop, go build some links. Also, I'll give you a bit more training than that, but essentially that's it. You have to approach people cold. You have to go out and find websites in industries that you learn about and find an angle. It's a bit like online PR, but if you're good writers, if you can say, look, I've got an article, have a look at it, your blog, if you're a good writer, people will take it. And then you're getting your name out there as well. We've had an intern from the UEA, William Sexton. He got 40 really good links. He got links from the Huffington Post, and now he's working for us part-time. He actually, yesterday I said, because we've got a new client that does student accommodation in London, I said, look, Billy, I need you to get me a link, a really good one. He emailed The Guardian straight away, started liaising with them about a feature. No one's stopping doing this, and actually newspapers like The Guardian, like The Independent, they need content because they don't have any money. The Guardian makes a loss each year. Now, if you know that actually The Guardian's bailed out each year by Auto Trader because it's under the same umbrella company. It's a loss-making activity, the news. They need a new generation of content creators who are informed and interested, which gives us an opportunity to build links for our clients. But it's not easy. You have to be talented. You have to be able to write something that people want to read, that people care about. It's hard work. I have to point out there's an ant underneath those biscuits, because yesterday I was showing the slide to Rebecca and she said, well, why are free biscuits hard work? There's actually an ant carrying it, so I just want to make that clear for anyone who can't see it. It's a team sport. We have a wonderful team at Fountain. We've got their ex-PR types, they're also students who are creative writers like yourselves, and they get together and we're brainstorming ideas and angles for different articles, and it's great to bounce ideas off people. That's a great way to build links. There are no shortcuts. There used to be, but not anymore. So Google doesn't really like the practice of search engine optimization. Google wants it all to be organic, that people would link to you because you are the best. But it doesn't always happen that way, and the way people used to make money in SEO used to be incredibly lucrative. You'd say, okay, I'll get you to top of Google, give me £1,000 a month, and I will get you up there, and that will make you lots of money. I would then go to a company in India and say, I'll pay you £50 a month, build me lots of links on your link farms and spanning websites you've created, and that's how people did it. So you'd have a lot of websites that were there because people were paying SEO companies to do dodgy practices, and Google's cracking down on that. Google wants the best quality content out there, which is why we're coming to you. We've always steered on the side of doing what Google says, keeping to its quality guidelines, that you earn links by having good content and people placing it and putting it back. You earn links by having a great website. And that's just something to be mindful of. There are no shortcuts. Because that's the initial thing. You think, if I need to get 5 links, I'll just pay someone who's got 5 websites. But if those websites are there just for link building, you're going to get caught out. Google's algorithm is getting more and more sophisticated. You've got to keep going. It's a constant race. You might get to number 1 on Google and then go, cool, that's great, I'm done, we'll just leave it there. And your competitor's hiring another SEO agency who's building lots of links, and at some point they overtake. So you've got to keep going, which means there's going to be more and more demand for content creators, for good writers, as this industry grows. I mean, we started Fountain in 2009 in the depths of the recession, and we've grown it to 13 people, not because we're amazing, but because it's one of the few industries online, the online market is the few ones that are growing. It's been growing year on year. People paying for SEO agencies, people paying for pay-per-click, there's demand in what we're doing online. And the great thing is you guys have already got the skills. The amount of people put their hands up when they said they're doing blogs, it was brilliant. I bet you 10 years ago, very few people were blogging in an audience like this. The fact you get online, you're happy to blog, and you're good writers, sets you in a really good stead. So how to build links. Let me run through some ideas. There are loads of ways. If you just Google how to build links, you will find reams and reams of forums of people talking about it. This is not the be-all and end-all of link building, but here are some practices I find useful and quite good. If someone said, Marcus, I want some links, how do I get them quickly? Well, you can go to your contacts, you can go to your friends, providing that they have websites that are relevant, that do have some authority. You can go to customers and suppliers. A really nice way is to write a testimonial for your lovely supplier and then put a link underneath the testimonial. They'll want to put the testimonial on their website to say, look, this person says I'm a great supplier, but then equally you get a link back. The main way to do it, I think, is to keep up to date with what's happening in the world, which makes our job really quite fun. We need to find out about the cutting news in all different types of industries. Industry news and websites. I mean, if you just Google your keyword, I mean, obviously solar panels plus news, you might think, well, there's nothing interesting, but actually there could be. There could be some really good stuff going on. Same with blogs as well. And that brings us on to guest blogging. If you own a blog, who actually owns a blog and maintains it? Just out of show of hands. And who here wishes it could be updated more frequently and they had more time to give? Yeah, exactly. There's loads of you. That's where guest blogging comes in. If you accept guest posts from other really good writers, that way you keep your readers happy. You have fresh content, you've got more pages, you're found by more people, and you're helping someone else potentially get a link back, provided you're happy with where they're linking to. You're the ultimate authority. That's become a much more of a common thing with guest bloggers. Online PR. That's exactly what William Sexton did yesterday. Straight to the Guardian, straight to the Independent. You're going to news sites, local as well, if you've got Norwich-based clients. Norwich Evening News, EDP, getting links from there as well. If you've got something newsworthy, it's got to be newsworthy. Competitors links. I showed you Majestic SEO earlier on. You can see all the links that are going to your competitors. And it'd be interesting, you know, if those of you who own blogs, you could look at who's linking to other blogs in your industry, in your area that you're writing about, and just see if perhaps you can get links to them as well. You can find out different communities that way by seeing who's linking to who. There's no secrets on the internet, the whole thing can be dissected. Having your own blog and news page, I've mentioned that already really. It's always good to have your own blog if you're a company, or having a news site just to keep fresh content on there. So you can do what's known as internal linking, you can link to pages internally. Directories. Be careful with this one, there are lots of spammy SEO directories out there, but a couple of good ones. There's Demos, there's Yahoo. And some industries will have genuine directories where you can get links from. Online videos, if you've got online content, and actually you don't have to have something professionally done. You really don't. There's software that can actually record what you're doing on the screen, so you can just talk about something. You can have quite amateur stuff on YouTube and still link back to your blog. I'm going to talk very quickly about paid search, about PPC. This isn't anything you guys are going to be involved directly in, but you might be interested. I might clear it up for a couple of people because not everyone knows the distinction between SEO and paid search. To make it really clear, I don't want no hands up thing because I don't want to embarrass anyone, but there's always someone that's going, I don't really get the difference. So, the bits in red you pay for, and it's done by bidding. Google doesn't say that no win, no fee solicitors is worth £77. The market decides that. Solicitors bid, they outbid each other to be at the top. The green area is SEO, that's where we're looking to rank. A show of hands, who actually clicks on paid ads? What, just one of you? So no one else has ever clicked on a Google ad? Really? That's an interesting trend for a generation, I must say, because actually with audiences that are of a slightly different generation, in general, more people click on the ads. According to a study that I've read, apparently the split is 70-30. 30% of people click on the Google ads. And that's interesting, because people are shaking their heads going, no, we don't do it. So, but here's the thing. If the rest of the world behaved like everyone in this room, Google would have made hardly any money yesterday, or last year. But Google turned over, what, £40 billion last year? Well, they've got an okay phone, but let's think about it. I mean, people clicking on those ads. Having said that, we actually have clients that spend around £100,000 a month on people clicking ads. So there are people out there. So just because you don't click on the ads doesn't mean that it doesn't work. That's an interesting thing. If the world actually started to replicate this room and the trend of people who click, Google might be in trouble. It'd be interesting to see. Ideally what you want, because let's assume that that study was right, the 30%, 70%, that 30% of people are clicking on the ads and 70% are clicking on the organic. Surely you'd want both. So here's a case study. A client of ours called R.A. Brown, they do heat pumps. Another renewable energy client. So they do, put on heat pumps are, they've got the ground source heat pumps where they bore 60 metres into the ground and bring heat out from the ground. It's quite profitable in Norfolk because there's a lot of country houses, it's quite a rural place. But when they started working with me, they were nowhere to be found on Google. So the first thing we started doing was running Google ads for the keyword heat pumps Norfolk. That was their keyword. And you can see them at the top there, R.A. Brown, heat pumps Norfolk. But obviously we wanted to be ranking naturally as well. So we got two of their pages, because remember Google ranks web pages, not websites. We got two of their pages, first and second. What's beautiful about this is if you're looking for heat pumps in Norfolk, you can't really ignore R.A. Brown. You can look at some of their competitors, but they're the most prominent ones there. And since they used to use the yellow pages for advertising, they've got about 2.5 years now, and they've grown from 2 people to 15, because they get about an inquiry a day. And if you think about how profitable heat pumps are in terms of the machinery and what you have to do with ground source heat pumps and air source heat pumps, it's a big business for them. Same again with another client, Abel's, they're a moving company, we've got them up there. Interesting enough, we've only got them at the top of the side ads, simply because moving company is an expensive keyword. You've got to bid about £15 a click. And actually, people do click on the ads, and people do actually click down the side, believe it or not. And it's cheaper to go down the side. So we worked out an optimal place for them to be ranking #1 organically and 4th there. What pay-per-click allows you to do, actually it's defined through bidding, as I explained earlier on, but what it allows you to do is dip your toe in the water. So if you're thinking about doing any search engine optimization, you can set up a pay-per-click account. Google will give you a free £75 voucher. I think you have to put £25 in to activate it. And let's say an average cost is £1 a click, you can test out different keywords. You can see what's going on with very little expenditure. There's nothing worse than investing in a year's worth of SEO. If by the time you get into #1, the keyword doesn't work, it doesn't convert, you don't make any money from it, it's the wrong choice. You can dip your toe in the water and try it out. I think that's it from me. Is there any questions about anything? Brilliant. Then I shall hand you back over to whoever's next on the speaking list. I've got no idea. If you want to speak to me one-to-one, to come chat at the end. It's probably easier.
So I said that I would say a little bit more about the competition that we're running and in order to be part of the right service. So we've now had an introduction to what we do and why we do it and why we as Fountain can pay students to do work for us is because you can help us with the link building side of things. So if you would like to be part of the University Writer Service, we would like you to submit a 200 to 300 word article. That's shorter than most of the articles that we write, but they're normally 400, 500 word articles. The topic that we've chosen is the housing market, and you can have a think about where you would want that, or what type of publication that article might be for. So you might be thinking that this is something for Mumsnet, and it's going to be the housing market and what to do if you've got lots of kids. So that could be the angle that you're taking on it. Or it could be for The Guardian, and you're writing about the recent policy changes that bring in admission, what that angle is. So if you would like to say for Mumsnet or for The Guardian, do, but you also don't have to. The deadline is the end of the day on Tuesday the 8th of October. When I say end of the day, I mean that I'm going to be looking at it at Wednesday morning at 9 AM. So it can be 4 in the morning if you like, but it needs to be with us by Wednesday morning, the 9th of October. And I think I put together a slide, just a few things to think about as you're writing it. So finding your interesting angle. So we don't just want a Wikipedia article here. This isn't about what is the housing market. It's not a definition. It's about trying to fit into somewhere that you could place. So if you think of it from our point of view, we would receive an article and then we'd try to be placing it on an online publication. So if you can think a little bit about where it might be going, that would be great. Think about your audience, think about the readership of that platform. Think, do they write in a very formal way? Do they write in a very informal way? You know, are they targeting young people, older people? Is it professional? Is it casual? That kind of thing. And then to have a little think about where you can find sources. I'm guessing that you'll be able to think of some ideas without having to do loads of research on this. Like in terms of, I'll just give you the Help to Buy scheme, which has been updated recently. There's loads in the news about the housing market at the moment. Read what George Osborne has been saying, that kind of thing. But there might be some other places that you could find some sources and have a think about it as well. Does anyone have any questions about the competition or about the University Writers Service in general? Then I'm going to hand back over to Sarah, and thank you very much.
Finally, thank you everybody for coming today, and thank you to the Fountain Partnership. It is an opportunity for just a few of you at this stage of the Writers Service, but hopefully after Christmas we will be building up with more external agencies and there will be a lot more places in the service. So all I can say is thank you again, thank the Fountain Partnership, and good luck! Do collect your